This has to be the craziest way I've ever seen somebody snag a front headlock in a street fight.
Oh, you're down, you're down, you're down!
Now, before we get into the front headlock itself, like this is where the guy ends up landing on his side. So if you do manage to secure a front headlock and you are on the side like this, I don't want to hang out here, nor is this even a good place. Like I got to get moving right away, because if this person immediately initiates like a cross face and starts pressuring back into me and just driving across, eventually he's going to be able to pop that head out and I'm going to be in a shit spot. So I want to make sure that if we get into this spot, that the next thing that I do before anything else is lock it nice and tight, keep my head and chest to his back, and I gotta start kind of working back up into the sprawl position with the goal of just keeping pressure behind his back and keeping his head down so that I can, kind of go from there. Now, this is not a position, like the front headlock offers a ton of options. It is not a place to hang out, but it is a great transition period. And there's a lot of options that you have. The first set of options is pretty much if we do want to just kind of stay engaged from the front, we can start looking to set up attacks from the front. Now, if we're talking self-defense in the street, if I'm going to go for any submission under any circumstances, I'm going to look to hit a choke. Why? Because if this person's on something, if they're intoxicated, whatever, even if I snap their arm, as we recently saw with a black belt that hit an armbar on a drunk dude, completely mutilated the arm, but the guy was still fighting back because he just didn't feel the pain. Whereas a choke, if I hit a choke, even if Cash is high as a kite, the choke's still going to put him to sleep. So chokes are just a safer bet for the street. Options that I have from here, from this front headlock position, again, depending on how you're positioned from here, we can go right away for like an anaconda choke. Again, I'm going to reach both arms to one side. I'm going to buckle that arm in. I can try to set up the choke from here. I am better off rolling underneath. Just again, mind you, you're going to be on concrete, so really make sure I tuck my head nice and tight, roll all the way through, come up, we secure, we can get the finish from there. The other option that you have, obviously one of my favorites that we do a lot on this channel, is working off to the side from here, shooting the arm across, chomping down the head, and buckling them down for a nice Darce choke. One of the reasons that I also would like to utilize this one more for street fight situations is, one, this choke will put him out pretty quickly, but two, if for whatever reason I can't finish this, or if I'm losing it, I can quickly switch to crossface and actually just kind of flatten them out, and right away we can recover to side control, so I don't really lose any ground in that sense. Obviously, we also have the option to hit guillotines. Now, guillotines are great chokes. If you can hit them, I'll show you a few options here in a second, but again, understand context. If I'm putting a guillotine on somebody in a street situation, I am purposely putting myself on my back, and if I can't finish it, or if I lose control of it, I am now on my back with this person on top of me, or even worse, if they've got friends. But again, if we are talking guillotine chokes, from this position, get a good chin strap. I'm going to post up on this leg and kind of step in a little bit, shoot this bottom leg through. I can fall back, I can throw the leg over the top, we can finish with an arm in, I can finish with the arm out. Both are great options, but again, if I lose control of this, right away he can posture and now I'm in a bad spot. One option that I would actually recommend before any of those is utilizing a cow catcher to kind of get like a single arm guillotine, because again, I'm able to put the person to sleep if I need to, but I also end up on top, which is a better position for me. So from this front headlock position, I'm going to take one arm and scoop to get a deep underhook here. The goal of this arm, when I start actually implementing the pass, is I'm trying to shoot my arm up and across to as far as shoulder blade. My other hand is going to get a nice deep chin strap, and I'm going to start pulling his head in the opposite direction. So as I go with this underhook, I'm going to lift on the underhook, I'm going to pull on the head, toss him off to the side, immediately drop my weight onto his chest. Now I can start pulling up and we can get the finish from here. But again, if I lose it, the head pops out, I can right away come to crossface and I can work myself back up to a more, again, controlled position. Now the second set of options is working off to the side. So maybe we don't want to stay up in front. Again, this is a hard position to hang on to this person, and if he starts driving into me, trying to like work himself back up, I might just be better off kind of working off to the side. And then again, we have options from here. So once I do get to the side, obviously the first choice that I have is just immediately starting to work strikes. Again, I can work these like upwards hammer fist, I can do downward hammer fist, I can grab the head and slam it if the situation calls for it. You have tons of options for strikes. I can throw knees, like again, options are endless. Again, just understand the legality of the situation and the context. But if I get to this position, maybe I throw a couple strikes, he starts kind of covering up, I do have the option to start kind of breaking this person down to, again, control them. One way that we can do that, I can switch from the wizard to simply just grabbing the hip, and I can just kind of scoot back a little bit and pull him abruptly into that space, and right away I look to cover the position. I don't like to be on both knees, so ideally I want to pop up to like a knee on belly, start working to a gift wrap, some form of control spot, so that's just kind of one option from there. If he's giving me a hard time and I can't buckle this down, then I'm going to take this knee, I'm going to switch it in, I'm going to now take my outside leg, I'm going to look to come all the way around and like peel that heel behind his foot. And as I start kind of pulling that foot back, it's going to start opening him up a little bit more. So now from here, again, I can hook the grip, I can move back, pull him, buckle him straight down, and right away we pressure back in. You do also have that option to take the back from there, but I'm not even going to show you that because, again, context. The last option that I'll show you for this is maybe this isn't working, I'm throwing strikes, he's just kind of really covering up, he's not giving me anything. So I'm gonna work all the way around to the back. Now what I wanna do from here is actually take one of my knees and I'm gonna drive it right behind his foot. And I'm gonna drive it right high so that it's kind of like in a butterfly grip. And essentially I'm gonna kind of sit him up into my lap a little bit. Now from here, if he tries to just go forward, it's gonna be difficult because I've got his hips elevated. If he tries to do anything else, he's gonna be forced to posture. The moment I feel him posture, I'm gonna scoop, I'm gonna move my leg out of the way and just pull him straight back down. And then again, we can immediately pop up and go from there. Now the last option that we have is simply to disengage, which for talking self-defense, again, getting out of the situation is the best choice possible. Somehow we ended up down here. Okay, I don't want to stay down here. I need to posture back, or I need to get back up. Another reason for us doing this abruptly is I can't see what's going on down here. I'm not really controlling his arms. If he starts reaching for a weapon of some sort and I can see that he's reaching for something, I'm not trying to now switch off the side and do these chokes. Like I want to get back up to my feet right away. So the best thing I can do is switch from the sprawl position to simply just kind of posting. Now, even from here, if he tries to just stand up, I'm still breaking the posture. But I don't want to release it when I'm still squared up in front of him, because especially if he does have a weapon, me doing this, I'm putting myself in a bad spot. So once I pop up to my feet and I'm posting on him, I want to work off at an angle. Maybe I push him a little bit, or now from this point, I can look to disengage. I can draw a weapon if I need to, or we just turn and book it. But again, you're recognizing the situation. You're not in a good spot. You're on the ground. Let's get back up to our feet and ultimately get away. Now, I know that this was a crazy setup for the front headlock. A lot of times how this will happen typically is if we're engaging and, you know, maybe I'm landing some strikes or we're fighting a little bit and they change levels and shoot, I sprawl out, and we kind of end up in this position. That's typically how you'll see people end up in that front headlock sprawl position. But again, this was a pretty crazy way to do it. But either way, those are your options. We finish them from the front, we work off to the side, do damage and control them, or ultimately we disengage and get out of there. Stay safe.